Hi, I'm Thomas and this is the making of my new lighting system for my workshop. Let's go! Là c'est nous! Là c'est nous! Là c'est nous! Alright, so in my shop I have actually two lamps. The first one is two neon tube, as you can see here, and one of them is broken, so it's not quite efficient. And I also have this halogen lamp to have light on my desk or my workbench. It's very bright, but it gets really hot. Alright, so for those kind of project, I like to start with a little drawing so I know where I'm going. So this is my desk. And this is me. I'm not that thin, so I made myself a little big. And I'm sad in this drawing because my light system in my shop is bad. I don't have enough light to make I don't have a proper light to film stuff what I'm doing. So I need a lighting system above my desk that can move around with powerful light so I can film anything I want. I don't know what to do yet, but if it works, it will make me happy. So I was looking for an idea, and actually it was in my desk where my 3D printer is, and this is a simple desk lamp that is articulate, and as you can see it can move around nicely. So I took a picture of this lamp and put it in Fusion 360, then make a sketch with all the form, extrude the sketch, and scaled up to have the proper size that I needed. And this is actually a lot bigger than the picture I took. From this 3D file, I 3D printed a template for each form so I can draw them and then cut them on the band saw. As you can see, I had quite a lot of triangle to cut. I mean, a lot of them. For the centerpiece, I used pallet wood and it was too thick, so I made a little jig to cut on my torso. And then I did a little bit of sanding. Then I measure the length of each arm and cut them on my torso. And the pieces I had were too thick, so I cut them in half, so I had enough to make all the arms. Next step was to make all the holes in each pieces, and it took quite some time. You can see here how all the pieces will be laid out and assembled. And I also made holes in all those arms. And I did a little bit more sanding so the surface are smoother, sorry. And at this point of the process, my halogen lamp died, so it was a good thing that I made a replacement. So right now I'm assembling all the arm with M4 screws. And it works. And folded and folding. Alright, so I made 4 arms for the light. As you can see, they extend quite a bit, and I'm very pleased because it works, and I wasn't sure of that. I applied my first. Yeah, so I got those Lazy Susan bearing that I'll use to mount, to rotate the arm around, and you can see I just draw on my table what I need to do, and I cut all the pieces on my bandsaw. I didn't take too much time to make it nice. I just need those mounts to allow the arm to be fixed on my in my shop. I just took time to make holes so I can use them to pass the electric wire through it, and I use a little bit of glue and long screw and just assemble it like that. Making holes again for the wire. And I use a small rotor bit to make channel so I can mount the arm on the mount. It's a lot of mount, and I did a little bit of mess, so I just cleaned it quickly before continue on this project. And you can see here why I did the channel, so it's just so I can use glue and screw on the two side plates of the arm. And this is the mount almost assembled. And it spins! Yay! And for the spring I'll use those cheap tensioner, and I couldn't get them to be I couldn't get enough tension at first, so I, instead of screwing it on the upper arm, if I can say like that, I actually screw it on the lower arm, and this way I could get enough tension and the arm would work better. And I did just the same for the next part of the arm. Next, I had to find a way to fix the LED spot in place, and I eventually just drew a hole and screw it together directly on the wood plate. And finally it was time to do all the wiring, so I had some wire laying around in my shop that I use, and I connect it to the LED spot, and finally just use some cable tie, zip tie, to hold it in place. And it was time to remove the halogen spot, and I did not remember how to do it, so it took quite some time, but I finally find it. And then I prepare the wire, and screw the first arm in place. At first I wanted to do it at the base of this of the wood, and I figured out it was better to screw it at the very top of the ceiling, so I would have more clearance. And it works. I also removed the old neon tube and I will reuse it in the house later. You can see here how I can move the spot around in my shop, and this is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to prepare the LED panel, and as you can see, I can put the spot right where I need it to have light. And I'm again using some scrap wood I had laying around to hold the LED panel. So I just screw them in place. And I first use a piece of pallet that I thought to fix on the arm, but I couldn't lift the LED panel with the arm. So what I finally did is just only use the first part of the arm and reuse some piece of wood to make it lighter. In the end, for the LED panel, I just have half of the arm I planned to use, and I screw the Levy Susan bearing right on it. And the process was exactly the same for the other panel, and you can see here how it moves. I have some fine adjustment to make because the piece of wood were too long, so I can't move it too much. I just have to cut it a little bit. I opened my garage door so I could have some light to connect everything together. Et voilà, it works. So I hope you like this video. Please consider subscribing and sharing this video. I'll do more shop upgrade very soon. I have to do a new workbench because the one I have is crappy. But anyway, thank you for watching and see you next time. Bye.